Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. Today, we're going to talk exactly about what this podcast is all about, your side hustle and finding your peace, your passion, and your purpose. And so I have Bart Merrell in the house who talk about the side hustle, and he has got a fantastic story to tell. And so, Bart, without further ado, why don't we have you introduce yourself first, and then we'll get started.
All right. Thanks for having me on. My name is Bart Merrell. I call myself the Side Hustle Samurai because I've never had a real job. And the samurai, the Bushido Code, has so many good guidelines or rails for business. You know, it was set up for the warrior, but it's all about business. And then one of the top samurai warriors, his name is Musashi. He wrote a book called The Five Rings, which once again is exactly what you need when you're out on your own, doing your own thing to keep you balanced and keep you focused and moving. And so that's why I've kind of adopted the samurai values and put that into where it makes sense to use them for business. And so that's what I do. And I help people identify their ideal side hustle to create financial security so that they have the resources to deal with life when it happens, because it's not a matter of if it'll happen, it's a matter of when it will happen, because life does happen.
So we're going to unpack this for a second, because first of all, I love your pitch that you gave real quick. And so I can't tell you how many different conferences I've gone to where they say you need to figure out what your pitch is in the very beginning. And so it's, I help people to do and you did it beautifully. I don't even know if you knew intentionally or if you've gone to the same conferences as me, but say that again. You help people do what?
Identify their ideal side hustle so that they can create financial security by monetizing what they already know and do, so that they have the resources to deal with whatever happens when life happens.
See, that's beautifully said. And see, I totally put you on the spot, and you said it almost verbatim. Again, actually, it might have been verbatim. And so,
no, I think I twisted a little bit in the first, but it has a couple of different versions.
But it was there. You help people do this so that they can do that. And I love, first of all, what you do, because that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to help people realize that, you know, if they're not happy in their 9-to-5 job, or they're not happy with the life that they have, that they really have the option to do anything. And so, getting a little personal, you have created a side hustle again after a tragic thing that happened to you. Would you like to expand on that?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do, I've done it all my life. And it's because I grew up with a dad who did the same thing. He was a pig farmer, but he had his hands in many different things in the agricultural industry. And so I grew up watching him. He never set me down and taught me the birds and the bees of business. He showed me by example, and then he helped me and encouraged me when I wanted to do things. And so my life has been anything that crosses my path, good, bad, or ugly. I always ask, how can I monetize it? And in 2023, about October of 2023, I found out that I was going to have my lower left leg amputated. Now, after the shock and awe was over and dealing with it a little bit, my twisted mind kind of goes, okay, I don't like this, but it's got to happen. There's nothing I can do about it. So if it's going to happen, how can I monetize it? Then 6 months post-op, I contracted with my prosthetist to help people deal with what they're going to have to go through whenever they're going to have an amputation. And it kind of was like I was in for a prosthetist appointment, and I'm sitting there and I say, Scott, you know, I interviewed 3 other prosthetists before I got to you and before I decided on you. One of them had a guy that I could talk to, that had his leg cut off, that I could ask questions. How bad is this going to hurt? How long until I get back on my feet? Or maybe I should say get back on my foot.
Yeah.
Little prosthetist humor. You can laugh at that. Yeah. And I said, Scott, you don't have a guy. I'm your guy. And that's how our conversation started, how our negotiation started. He's like, okay, what do you want? And I said, I don't want a job. I want to be on retainer. And whenever someone needs help, they need to talk to somebody, you send me their number, I call them. And so he sends me the people I need to talk to. I make the calls. I go meet with them. If they need help after they get out, I go talk with them, because a lot of times it's easy to get your leg cut off. But after it's cut off and you look down and it's gone, that's where the mental game starts, because that's when you're just like, this is real. And so I turned something that wasn't good into an income stream.
And at the same time, you're also helping people, right? So it's an income, but I mean, it's easy for me to go, oh, I know how you feel. No, I don't. You don't have that leg. You know how they feel. And so you're able to talk with them and see. So you're helping people while monetizing.
And it's what you say. It's good that you understand that you don't know how I felt. And I walked in to the hospital that morning to get my leg cut off. That was one of the most terrifying things I've ever had to do.
Oh yeah.
And to tell people, to help them understand, I say it was like a death row inmate walking to the death chamber, because I would be walking in, but I would not be walking out, and a piece of me would be gone.
Yeah, that's hard. That's really hard.
And so I help people work through those thoughts that are going in their head, and I get compensated for it, not by them, but by the prosthetist.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so how? And I'm asking you this not to understand how to make money from the process, but like if somebody else is dealing with something like this and they have a healthcare provider, like right now I'm here wearing a heart monitor, and I've been wearing one for a couple weeks, and it's going to be a month. I had one on a couple weeks ago. I'm going through some heart issues, and so how do you like? And mine's hopefully short term and the things that they're going to have to do. But my point is, like, how do you get it monetized so that the patient doesn't have to pay for it?
Well, the patient pays for the prosthetist appointment and the leg and all that stuff, and so it comes out of that.
Okay.
But the prosthetist compensates me. He can't charge more because the insurance covers only what the insurance cover.
Okay.
But it is a benefit to him.
Okay.
Because can say, okay, and so has someone you can talk to. I do as well. If you need help getting through this, so it's a benefit to have me on retainer to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. And that's nice that he does that, because he's money that he could be making himself. He's taking care of his patients and he's helping you as well. So that's a great win-win for everyone. So what other things have you done, or what do you do to help people? Say that my son, right? He's 20. He doesn't really know what he wants to do. Or even my daughter, that she's a videographer and she's passionate about this. She wants to go out on her own, but maybe she's a little worried. Like, can you help people like that? Or do you help people start from the beginning? I don't know, and I just want to do something.
So I do both. If you come into me with an idea, so my friend Stephanie, she had an idea. So she already had the idea in her head. And I said, okay, humor me and go through my process.
Okay.
Let's just see if this is really what you want to do. And so what I do is I basically take them through their life and say, okay, what do you like to do? Mm-hmm. Make a list. Don't say, oh, I can't monetize it. Just make a list. Then what do you need to do? And then what are you already doing? Make these lists, and then we will evaluate them later, go through them one by one, refine the list to where we have a couple at the top that you should probably start with first. And then that's where we start turning that into a stream of income. And the process is just to get people thinking. I do it naturally. I don't make a list. Anything that comes across my path, I say, okay, I'm into AI. I've been studying AI since, I don't know, probably 2 years ago. And I love creating music with AI.
Oh, wow.
I was doing it anyway. So now my mind goes, okay, can I monetize it? So I have 2 alter egos that have names, they have pictures, they have their creation, that have music on Spotify. And anytime someone listens to it, I get paid. And that's just the way, like I say, it comes natural. Anything good, bad, or ugly that comes across my path, I always ask, how can I monetize it? And so I get people to start doing that by making lists and analyzing the different things that come up. And then by the end of the process, they start to think, oh, well, I'm doing this. So Stephanie, let's go back to Stephanie. She's a school bus driver. She wanted to do a party bus that would take people to the jazz games and the hockey games and stuff like that, where they don't have to worry about parking. They just get dropped off and picked up. And that was her idea that she brought to the table before we even started. And I says, okay, well, continue making your list and we'll meet next week. 2 days later, she calls me up and she's like, I'm so mad at you. I'm like, what? What did I do? Well, I woke up the other night at 3:00 in the morning and I couldn't go back to sleep. I have to be on the bus by 6:30. And I'm like, well, what does that have to do with me? It came to her attention that if she had her own bus, her own vehicle, she could be a facilitator for the driving test for a CDL. All she had to do was go take a test. And so she thought of that herself. I didn't think of that. I come into this with zero predetermination, zero motive. I come into this, we're just going through your life. I'm not asking you, I'm not like, hey, join my network marketing company or sell my stuff. We're going through your life, your unique experiences, and saying, okay, what's in there? And then as you're doing this, things are going to come to your mind. I just start the wheels rolling like I did with Stephanie, and she came up with it. And once you get started, sometimes you can't stop. I can't stop. My mind is always going, whether it's good or bad. I don't know if it's good or bad because sometimes I can't sleep at night either. I'm right there with Stephanie. But I just start your mind rolling and start you thinking. And then I help you go down the path to turn that into a stream of income.
So you don't have to answer this if you don't want, but how many different types of income streams do you have?
Currently, I am a dog trainer, and I'm a dog trainer because I adopted a 9-month-old or an 8-month-old 90-pound Rottweiler that didn't know the word no several years ago. And I kept calling my buddy Sean, who was a dog trainer. I was like, Sean, Rex is doing this. What do I do? About the fourth phone call, he's like, Bart, we're doing a train the trainer program. Why don't you come learn to train your own dog? If I'm going to train my own dog, I'm going to get paid to train other people's dogs. And so I've been doing that for 7 years now.
Oh, wow.
Just because I adopted a Rottweiler that didn't know the word no. So I'm a dog trainer. I do exports to Japan. So I helped take the first commercial bungee jump to Japan. And while I was over there, I was going to a gym. And the first couple of weeks I was at this gym, nobody would say boo to me except for the staff because I'm pretty big. I'm 6'4". I was 220, and that's pretty big compared to Japanese people. And so, number one, I was big, and number two, they didn't know if I spoke Japanese or not. And finally, this one guy, he comes up to me and he goes, "Hello," and I said, "Hello." And then I started speaking Japanese to him, and he's like, "I'm glad you speak Japanese because I was done at hello." We became friends, and he was a big rig driver in Japan, drove big trucks. And about a year and a half after we became friends, he said, okay, I want to stop driving truck and import camping trailers, Dodge and Ford diesel pickups. Will you help me? I said, yes. I didn't know how to do it, but I said, yes. I thought he knew how to do it. He didn't know how to do it either. So we both said yes, learned together. We've been doing that since 1997.
Wow.
I still do it to this day. It's a good side. I mean, sometimes it's a huge side income for very side hustle time. I have a rental apartment that is basically passive unless I have to put someone in it, or if something breaks and I have to call and get something fixed. It is a accessory apartment in my house. This goes under the things you are already doing. I need a place to live. I'm already living somewhere. Why not have a place that has a rental apartment to it? I've never lived in a house that I have more than half of my mortgage paid for by someone else. And so that's just another thing that I bought my first house just out of college. I was a single guy. I took the best room, rented out the other apartments. I paid for my mortgage and then some. And then when we got married, I rented the basement. Then when we moved to our current house, I looked for a house with an accessory apartment. And that's just something that I've always done.
It's amazing because I do too. Real estate is so great. Keep going.
And then my music thing with AI, with the invent of AI, there is pretty much nothing you can't do.
No, that's true.
So music, and that's small pennies right now. I hope to have it bigger. Creating apps. I'm not a coder. I don't know how to code, but I can code with AI. And so for my prosthetist, for dog training, when I send a dog home, if the owner doesn't do what I did, if they don't do the effort, they're not going to have the same result. Just because your dog minds me at my house doesn't translate to you at your house. And so they need to do these things, and I have a hard time getting people to do it. So I said, okay, I need to create an app that is an accountability for their dog training that says, okay, do this week 5 times a day or 3 times a day or whatever. And it shows them what to do, and then they get to check the boxes. And if they do everything for X amount of days, they get so I gamify it so that they get a thing, a prize, whatever.
Yeah.
I was telling my prosthetist about that, and he says, I need the same thing for people taking care of their leg, their residual limb or arm or whatever, because he's had 2 or 3 clients that were below the knee amputee, but because they didn't do what they needed to do for their leg for whatever reason, became an above the knee amputee. And so he says, I need this to help people for the first 90 days get into the groove of the things they need to do, their new life. So created an app for him to do that. And so there's just, that is another stream of income for people who need apps. I had another person come up to me. I put a message out there. I'm going into this AI coding class. I need a project. What kind of app do you need? And so I had people throw stuff at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to build these apps and monetize them. And so those two are just in the beginning. But with AI, there is nothing you can't do.
No, that's true. I see this whole become an affiliate marketer on Amazon. So you click a button, you start selling things like, and then you get an affiliate commission. I'm like, dang, it's easier now to make money in life than any other time. And so people that are unemployed or that are, I can't get a job, you can. Don't get me wrong, it might not be the exact amount that you were making before or something, but you could be making something, if you try.
And if you pick the right things, it can turn into more than you were making before.
Yeah.
And so I'm giving you the good things about AI. The bad things about AI, they're going to be people who lose their job because of AI.
And so you better start adapting.
You need to find your side hustle. And when I say side hustle, it doesn't mean small income. Side hustle just means I started it on the side.
Yeah.
And I mean, my trailer income can be huge some years. My dog training income is fairly decent, especially during COVID when everybody went out and bought dogs, and then they had or they went out and adopted dogs that didn't have training. And then you had the COVID money flying around. Man, dog training was amazing. I was booked out for months.
That's cool.
So it's just a matter of paying attention. Let me see if I can think of, so the bungee jump. So my goal in life from about 16 years old on was to get in the FBI and chase serial killers. That was my dream job. And we had an ex-FBI agent friend that said, okay, the easiest way into the FBI at this time is through accounting. But once you get in, you don't have to stay in the white collar. As jobs open up, you apply for those jobs and you can transfer departments if you're good at it.
Wow. I didn't know that.
And so from him and my dad's encouragement, I decided I would study accounting. I went up to Utah State, studied accounting. I found out very quickly two things. I wasn't good at it, and I didn't really like it.
Okay.
But hey, it's a means to an end. I had one quarter left at Utah State, and I took a break to go home and help my dad on the farm and improve my Spanish. We're right down on the Mexican border. And while I was down there, I'm in this small New Mexico town, making money, nowhere to spend it. And I had some friends that were in the customs and border patrol and cops that were getting RK surgery done on their eyes to correct their vision. I said, I'm going to do this. I have the money. Went and got it done. It was successful. 20/20 in one eye, 20/25 in the other eye, clear up until about 52. I got back up to Utah State, finishing up my last quarter to graduate, started my application process into the FBI, and I find out that automatically disqualified me, the surgery.
My gosh.
So I am devastated. I'm like, I do not want to be I don't want to count other people's money. I don't want to do this job. What am I going to do? I'm doing my part-time job that I was doing up there, which was landscaping. And a buddy of mine, he jokingly asked me, hey, you want to go back to Japan? Because he worked for the bungee jump company up there, and they had sold a tower to Japan. Mm-hmm. They didn't have anybody to speak Japanese to go back and forth. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And so I helped take the first commercial bungee jump there. Then the Sky Coaster, it's a big swing thing in all the big amusement parks. Mm-hmm. Took the first one of those over there. I played in that industry till I got married, and my wife said, you need to calm down a little bit. And so, but I still sell bungee cords and stuff over there and parts for these things. And so that's another stream of income. Not big anymore, but it was huge for those first 6 years that I did it full time. I actually got a call from Japan. This was it was probably in 1997. And they said, we saw this thing on TV. It is in Germany, and it's an unattached free fall into a net from about 150 feet in the air. I just said, man, that's gotta hurt. They said, yeah, we want you to go try it though. And so I called Germany, and they said, well, it's just for stunt people right now. We'll call you when it's ready. I didn't think I'd get a call back. 2 months later, I got a call. I was on a plane to Germany to try this thing. Flew to Japan. We sold 3 in Japan. Then I contracted with the German company to build 2 in the United States. And so, like I say, what I've done is just anything that crosses my path, I say, how can I monetize it? And that doesn't mean I monetize anything. So when the next step in the analysis of what you do, you've made your list, you've picked your 2 or 3 things. Now you're doing deep dive research into what is it going to take to get this off the ground and make it happen, to get what? And are you willing to do this? Because a lot of people, I wish I was Bezos, or I wish I was Musk, or whatever billionaire. I wish I was Mark Cuban. Really? Are you willing to do what they did? Mark Cuban slept on everybody else's couches for a long time. Bezos put a lot of work into what he does. Musk, he still lives in his office most of the time. Is that what you want to do? Is that the life you want? So you have to decide this. When I was in Japan, there is a place that I just love, a restaurant. It's called Koko Ichiban Curry. It's a little Japanese curry chain restaurant that's all over Japan. It's the first place I go when I land, and it's the last place I go before I leave. I'm thinking, man, and if you go to where the bases are, where the Air Force bases and all the Army bases are in Japan, and you go there on a Friday or Saturday night, you think you're in America because all the GIs are there. And so everybody loves this place that's even American. I need to take this to America. This would be amazing. I had a guy in Japan that would give me the money. He said, if we make money, we split the profits. If we don't and you lose the money, don't worry about it.
Wow.
I had to ask my Japanese friends to make sure what he said was what I thought he said. And that's what he said. And so I'm like, okay, and I get back to America and I start doing my research about what's it going to take. And I got to doing the research. I'm just like, you know what? I don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
And so I said no. I said no to free money, because I didn't want to work that hard. It wasn't the life I wanted.
Wow.
And so you need to do that with your ideas that are right there. Like I say, I ask, how can I monetize it? But I don't monetize everything.
Interesting. Because you could have hired somebody to help you. But I know, like Jimmy Johns came and spoke at a conference, and he goes, unless you're willing to work 24/7 for a couple years, then this is not the job for you. And he did. He worked his tail off for years, to the point where he didn't have a relationship with his kids. He was just not home. And I like that you said, okay, this isn't the life I want to live. But
yeah. And you have to analyze that before you jump in.
Yeah.
And then even if you analyze it and you jump in and then it's wrong, you got to be okay with making a mistake. Because I don't know if you listen to Gary Vaynerchuk or not, but Gary V, he says, I would rather succeed 7 of 10 times than 10 of 10 times, because I learned so much from the failures.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And you got to be okay with failing.
That's true. That's very true. All right. Well, our time is up. If our listeners wanted to get a hold of you, because I need focus, I want a side hustle that could be not a side hustle, how would they get a hold of you?
So the best way to connect with me is I'm giving away it is a 1K blind spot assessment. What is holding you back from making your first $1,000 in a side hustle? It'll take you about 20, 30 minutes to finish up. So it is kind of extensive, but it's going to show you what you're missing, what you're not seeing. And it's also going to show you the things that you are seeing. And you can find that at youridealsidehustle.com. And that will connect you to me. I'm active on Facebook, and I have a YouTube channel called Bart Merrell, the Side Hustle Samurai.
Love that. Well, Bart, thank you so much for being on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed the conversation.
Yes. And Unbreakable Moms. You know what? You don't have to make a full-time job out of something. But if you're not happy, or if you need a little extra money, then go to Bart's website and take the assessment and see, because there are so many things out there now more than ever. I truly believe that you could get away from that 9 to 5 if you don't want it, or just earn some extra money. Go out and make it a great day. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.